Senator Rand Paul quits YouTube for Rumble, exacerbating the big tech exodus. What people are saying about the Gettr experience, and Gettr gains how many users in 48 hours? Wow. Welcome to Old Foundry Media. I'm your host, the Crane Man. Let's fire it up. Another prominent person embraces alt tech because of big tech censorship. Last time it was Joe Rogan announcing his Gettr account. This time we see Senator Rand Paul quitting YouTube in favor of Rumble, an alternative video-based social media site. As you can see in this Gettr post from the Post-Millennial, Senator Paul has urged his YouTube followers to join him on this alternative platform. The article from the Post-Millennial says, the senator from Kentucky declared his personal divorce from using YouTube, and he'll be using Rumble from now on. Rand Paul made the announcement in an op-ed for the Washington Examiner. He summarizes his relationship with Google's video sharing platform as a, quote, toxic relationship, where he's left susceptible to being policed by so-called, quote, fact checkers. He described the amalgamation of corporate media and big tech companies as like a, quote, medieval church that's deciding some subjects are, quote, dangerous for viewers to see. The first point of contention Rand Paul has with YouTube is how they won't allow him to oppose the efficiency of cloth masks. In August of 2021, YouTube suspended the senator for a video on the subject. A hallmark of the scientific method is to challenge and disapprove of hypothesis, yet we have abandoned science and rational debate for an almost religious adherence to the edicts of government bureaucrats like Anthony Fauci. To challenge the data is to be a denier or a conspiracist who must be silenced, Paul writes. The other example he gives is how YouTube censored a speech Rand Paul gave on the Senate floor concerning the first impeachment attempt against former President Trump. When I gave a speech on the Senate floor asking whether Eric Ciaramella, the Vindman brothers, and Adam Schiff's legal team conspired while working at the White House to impeach the president, YouTube chose to censor and delete the video. This comes on top of news from Sunday where Georgia Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene had her personal Twitter account suspended on claims that she was spreading, quote, misinformation about COVID-19 vaccines. Leftist members of the House of Representatives stated their desires to oust Greene from both Twitter and Congress overall. While still allowed to have a professional account on the site, Greene has since elected to migrate over to Twitter alternative Gettr instead. Her decision to transition to a different social media site, on top of podcaster Joe Rogan's decision to sign up, has inspired countless thousands more to follow their leads. Upon exploring the effects of these countless thousands of people following the lead in the social media mass migration, one finds the number of users exploding on Gettr, pushing it to number 2 on the Google Play charts, as you can see. This is above the likes of other platforms like Snapchat, Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, and Facebook. In a new press release today, Gettr announced that 500,000 people opened their Gettr accounts after Joe Rogan joins the platform. The press release reads, more than 500,000 people joined free speech social media platform Gettr in the 2 days after podcast superstar Joe Rogan announced that he had signed up, sending the total number of total registered users skyrocketing to nearly 4 million. Rogan made his announcement on Sunday, January 2nd, which prompted more than 171,000 to open Gettr accounts that day. On Monday, that number almost doubled, with over 341,000 people opening accounts. As of Tuesday morning, there had been more than 545,000 new signups since Rogan's declaration. This is the great disruption in the social media landscape, said Gettr Chief Executive Officer Jason Miller. People have been looking for a new outlet for free expression, and Gettr is the destination. When Joe Rogan says the establishment social media giants might get, quote, even dumber, people listen and join the migration. The CEO of Gettr, Jason Miller, posted on Gettr today saying, Gettr fam, it's only 2 p.m. and we're already up over 100K new users on the day. To those of you who've been here since the early days, thank you. And to those who are newer to the platform, welcome. Already over 100K new users today alone, and that was at 2 p.m. Wow. Ebony Bowden posted, wow, 445,000 people have signed up for Gettr in the last 48 hours. and we are now approaching 4 million users worldwide. This is the revolution, folks. Thanks to all of you for being here and valuing free speech. The fall of big tech is happening before our eyes. Let me know in the comments if you agree with her assertion. Are we seeing the fall of big tech? Has their censorship finally gone too far? Explain why you do or do not agree in the comments below. Myth-informed MKE states his observation in a Gettr post. Twitter banning Dr. Robert Malone led to Joe Rogan joining Gettr. That was a huge mistake. It seems the events of the last couple days are a display of the accuracy of this statement. Dr. Jordan Peterson also posts an observation on Gettr. Doesn't look like trying to condemn or cancel Joe Rogan is really doing any good. Quite the contrary, in fact. Much like the previous post, this observation appears to be more accurate with each passing day. Moving on to posts that express opinions about the experience of using Gettr, we see Mr. Schlichter is ready to engage on the battlefield of ideas. He says, "Really digging the Gettr vibe. Happy to see pinko commie trolls here. I don't want a safe space. For them. Game on." It's a good feeling to know that you can exchange from equal footing on Gettr without having to worry about the tech tyrants censoring unapproved content. Same way it's a good feeling to enter combat unencumbered in any way, after you had been previously engaging with one hand tied behind your back. Aaron Hall posts to Gettr, "I'm thoroughly impressed with the engagement here on Gettr compared to Twitter. Been on here since November, and it grows daily, it seems." Joe Pags reinforces Aaron's position. He writes, "Isn't it nice to post on a social site and see actual engagement from your followers? I'd forgotten what that felt like. Get it, Gettr." If you have joined Gettr and used it a bit, leave a comment that explains your experience on the platform. Are you enjoying Gettr? How about the interface? The engagement? Any problems you've had? Let me know below. I have to say, the engagement and content flow on Gettr is so good right now. I was able to completely cut Twitter out of this video, and it was not necessary to use Twitter because Gettr is exploding. James Melville shares his feelings on his Gettr experience by posting, "Bloody hell, I love it on here. It's so much more respectful and dignified than the other place." We all know the other place he's talking about. But I wonder how long this sentiment will last. If the hordes of the self-righteous make a migration, they may contribute to the change in culture on here. Gettr is the future, Twitter is the past, Bridgette Gabriel proclaims in a Gettr post. I'm not convinced that the collapse of big tech is upon us yet. I'm certainly hoping that this digital migration is the death knell, but the power of the big tech oligarchs is not so diminished by the situation as to be collapsing, at least not yet. Dinesh D'Souza addresses alt-tech detractors in a Gettr post. He says, "It's silly for conservatives to bash alternative platforms. Quote, they censor porn. Quote, they don't allow anti-Semitic slurs. We're not trying to protect porn or ethnic slurs. We're trying to have a free and open debate on critically important political and cultural issues." Do you agree or disagree with Dinesh? Is free speech an absolute, or does a company have the right to remove speech it deems undesirable? The left largely defends the tech tyrants, exclaiming their rights as a private company. Anti-censorship types argue that when a platform reaches a significant enough position in political discourse, political speech, especially of elected officials, should not be censored. Tell me in the comments what your opinion on that matter is. We end this video with a meme. Anyone who followed the Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell story should understand the joke. Look out for Dr. Kilario Clintono, Ghislaine. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. This is the Crane Man, punching out.